Well, today I want to talk about Vanlifers' attitudes towards the overnight parking bans, and just in general, really. It's something I've noticed over the last 9 months. Their attitudes are not always the same as the general population. I mean, this is not going to be a rant about it. It's just my observations of watching Vanlifers on YouTube and the few Vanlifers I've met over the last few months. If you stick around a bit, I'll give you my thoughts on the camp van. I'll give you my thoughts on the overnight bans and my attitude towards it and my attitude towards life in general. Now, I found that some van lifers are selfish, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I think it's especially true for solo van lifers. I mean, they have to look after number one first. I mean, I can imagine you find a fantastic park up nobody else knows about. You're going to try and keep that secret to yourself. Is that selfish? Yeah, I suppose it could come across as selfish. But I think I might be the same as a solo van lifer. As soon as everybody else knows, it's no longer a nice place to go. Oh, by the way, my name's Neil, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're an existing viewer, welcome back. Just a bit of a backstory. In 2023 and 2024, I bought a panel van and I did a self-build conversion of my Sprinter and turned it into a camper van. I'm now 61 and living full-time in my camper van. I travel around, explore and take you along with me. Getting back to attitudes. I've seen some people on YouTube talking about the bans, new regulations, and they're coming across and saying, and they're basically saying, that doesn't, and they're basically saying, I'm going to disregard that. They're basically saying, I'm going to disregard them rules and regulations because they don't mean anything to me. I don't care what the council says or what the government says. I'm going to just do what I want to do. And that sort of brings to mind an American phrase I heard or may have seen in a film, and it was "stick it to the man." And that's what these people are talking about. Stick it to the council, stick it to the government. I'm just going to do what I want to do. Is that the wrong attitude? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I mean, a couple of days ago, I met a fellow not van lifer, a van user I would call him, because he uses his van on a daily basis and goes away, but he doesn't live in it full time. His name was Liam. And we were talking about attitudes and how your attitude can change a situation, how it can escalate or de-escalate depending on your attitude. And I think that's what's happening with the bans, the overnight bans. Some people have got the attitude that it's, you know, it's not affecting me, I'm going to disregard it. And then you've got the ones with the attitude that we need to fight against it. And then you've got the ones with the attitude that's, I'll just have to follow and toe the line. I'm not 100% sure which is the correct one to follow. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But again, attitude. Is there a right attitude and a wrong attitude? Well, I suppose if you have the wrong attitude, you can get into trouble. Or you can make a bad problem worse. I mean, for instance, if you get stopped by the police for any reason, if your attitude is disrespectful, then that can escalate quite quickly from being stopped for something minor to being arrested and taken to jail or to the police station. However, if you have the completely opposite attitude and you're respectful, and whatever reason you got stopped for, and you respect the person who stopped you, the policeman, it can de-escalate, and you might be able to talk your way out of it. Or something which might have ended up being a fine was just a caution, and on your way. Thank you very much, officer. I mean, that's just one scenario, if you like, which I've just thought of. But that scenario can be played out in all different forms throughout life. I mean, thinking about bullies and getting into fights at school and things, turn the other cheek. Yeah, that attitude works. Not so much with bullies, unfortunately, because they just keep coming back. But for life in general, to have an attitude of respect and not being confrontational. I think that's the word I'm looking for, really. It depends on your nature. I mean, you might have a forceful nature or less forceful nature, and that will and your attitude will come from that, depending on what situation you're in. But I think for vanlifers, you have to have a bit of a selfish attitude. Look after yourself first. But I think you also have to toe the line to a certain extent. I mean, these overnight bans coming into places, I mean, I can see that attitude of the vanlifers used in these places was the wrong attitude, and that's obvious because now they've got bans in place. I mean, you go to somewhere and there's 20 vans parked up in a row. They've got all the tables and chairs out on the pavement, blocking the pavement. Got the barbecues out. I mean, it's treating it like a campsite. I mean, I don't think that's full-time vanlifers, more like your weekend warriors and things, but I have seen a couple of full-time van lifers doing something similar. Not to that extreme, but sort of treating a park up as a campsite. I mean, fair enough, leave no mess, they've cleaned up and everything else. But when they were there, any locals seeing them would have got a bad impression. Whereas if you just parked up at the side of the road, you're in your van, you do what you need to do, you've slept over, and you go the next day, it's great. Or maybe stop for 2 nights in a nice place. But don't push it. I think that's the key. If you go somewhere and you're there for a week, that's going to get somebody's back up. So I think you've got to have this easy attitude towards where you're parking up, I think. My attitude towards the parking bans is that I'll have to follow the regulations. If it says there's no overnight parking, I'm not going to park there. And I'm not going to take the signs down, which is what happened in Arundel not that long ago. They put up all the parking ban signs. Vanlife did a video of it, showed all the signs up. It's the end of the Arundel Park up. And a few days later he went back and did another video, and all the signs had gone. And he was thinking, in fact he said in his video, oh, the parking bans are not in place then. However, the council came back a couple of days later in the local press, or maybe the national press, and said that all the signs had been illegally removed. Was that a van lifer? Don't know. But that's not the attitude to take. I think Roads Home have got a good idea, demonstrating about the bans in Morecambe. Peaceful. Getting people together to push back at the councils, but respectfully, doing it respectfully. I think that's one of the keys. Your attitude has to be respectful. Attitude to each other, other van lifers. And that's my take. That's the way I live my life. My attitude towards rules and regulations, they're not there to be bent. You can play around it a little bit, I think, without breaking the regulation. And if somebody tells you to move, or somebody tells you to stop, you have to take that with a pinch of salt. And the right attitude for that is, okay, that's fine, I'm going to move. No aggression. An aggressive attitude always makes a situation worse. So that's me, just my little talk about attitudes, really. If you found it interesting, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. So until the next time, bye for now.